all of a sudden we just hear this loud, blood-curdling scream.
Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the Bad Times Good Stories Podcast. My name is Joe Flanders. I hope you are having a terrific week. I am. I got to go to a nice alumni function from my college, the North Carolina School of the Arts, and it was really great. Great reconnecting with people, great meeting other alums. If you are at all interested in the arts, whether that's film or dance or drama or visual arts or music, I highly suggest you check them out. It's this awesome little arts conservatory in the South that it's unlike anywhere else that I've seen. It's a really cool place. So again, that's the North Carolina School of the Arts. Check it out. I'm excited today to talk with Caroline Georges. She's somebody I've known for a couple of years now. We met at an improv class here in LA, which I admit is the most LA way to meet somebody. But she's a really great person. She's interesting. She's had a really interesting story. She is a dancer at a gentleman's club. She's a stripper, is what we're saying here. She has some really crazy stories, really funny stories about the people that she's worked with at the club, as well as the patrons of the club, and she's happy to open up and talk all about it. So I really appreciate her coming over to do that. Caroline also has her own podcast called the Manic Pixie Dream Podcast. It's really great. It's led to some really interesting conversations. It's sort of a female empowerment podcast where she talks with women and men about current events and other such issues that pertain to women's rights and women empowerment. So I definitely suggest you check that out. Again, that's the Manic Pixie Dream Podcast. If you enjoyed today's episode, please give us that 5-star rating on iTunes. It just makes me so happy to read the comments and know that people are enjoying the show. So if you could do that, that'd be great. You can also check out badtimesgoodstoriespod.com for past episodes merch and a link to the Patreon. And you can email me at badtimesgoodstoriespodcast@gmail.com and share some of your bad times that hopefully make for good stories. That's all I've got for now. So without further ado, here's my conversation with Caroline Georges. All right. We are rolling.
Okay.
How are you doing?
Good.
Yeah?
Yes.
Fantastic. We got to take our Christmas stuff down, huh? It's getting to be that point where it's sad.
What Christmas stuff? I don't see anything. Oh,
well, there's the tree right there.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and just all the stuff.
Well, I like the lights. Well, you don't have any lights up, but I like the streamers.
Yeah.
I always like the lights. I think those are like, that can be a year-round thing, and I don't mind.
The white lights, I agree. You know?
But the
even some
multicolored
colored
lights.
ones. Colored ones too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I love like Christmas decorations, but then it gets to a point where it makes me sad because it's like, it's over.
You know what the most beautiful Christmas lights I've ever seen were?
Where?
The
What?
McDonald's Christmas lights.
Really?
It's like the yellow and red. And I don't know why. I just really love that color combination.
Yeah.
And the Christmas lights that they used, which I guess are kind of sacrilegious because, I guess Jesus likes green and red and gold. Those are the Christmas colors.
Right. How did those become the colors?
And so, yeah, McDonald's, I think, didn't honor the time-honored tradition of those colors. But I thought the lights that they used were really beautiful, and I thought that would be,
Yeah.
I don't know, that color combination is nice.
Well, yeah, I'm excited to have you on. Obviously, I've known you for a bit. We met at improv class a couple of years ago. You said you've got some stories for this show. So what did you want to talk about?
From my the tender age of 18, I started working as a dancer on and off.
Okay.
At gentlemen's clubs.
Okay.
So for very sheltered people, that means I'm a stripper.
Okay.
And I worked. Yeah, And so I guess you meet interesting people doing that for sure.
I would imagine. Yeah.
Interesting women, interesting bouncers, interesting managers, interesting waitresses, and interesting men, and some women.
Yeah. What is the breakdown of like men to women who are coming to the clubs?
Women are all awful clients. They're
Really?
the worst. Oh, they're across the board. I mean, look, I don't want to like say awful things about women, but women who go to strip clubs are kind of like, oh well, feminism is not a thing. Like feminism isn't real.
They're not supporting
I don't know
you.
how to have,
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because they don't spend money. They're there kind of ironically.
Right.
I want to say there are like women that go there. They're down to have a good time. And they want to like hang out and party with you and stuff. And they want to do dances and they want to get their friends and their boyfriend dances and stuff. And they are there to have a really great time and stuff, but just 99% of the women that go into strip clubs are there to not do that. And
I see.
Yeah.
So you try to avoid them like the plague.
Well, yeah. I mean, you just don't talk to them, or if they. I mean, I'm not very nice about it. If women come and they sit at the stage and they're not spending money and they're there with their boyfriend, then I will just give their boyfriend all the attention in the world.
Sure. Yeah.
And I will use all of my feminine wiles to make that man like have a really good time.
Good. Yeah.
While he's sitting right next to his fucking girlfriend who's broke ass, won't put money down on the stage for a woman while she's working really hard to get her boyfriend's dick hard for her.
Right.
So yeah.
So what do you look for? Like, who's the ideal client? Like, when you like see X type of person? And I know we're generalizing, but what are you like? Oh, this will probably go well.
Well, I think it's a lot about reading vibes, honestly.
Yeah.
It's just like it's meeting people kind of how you would any place and stuff. And so sometimes guys will come in and I'm just like, I don't know if I'm going to talk to them. I don't think they're... And I don't. And then they end up not spending money or they end up being like a problem or something. And then I'm like, I'm glad I followed my intuition that those vibes weren't good. But mostly it's like young, good-looking guys. I charge double because they don't want to pay for dances and stuff. So that's kind of and which I think actually gets some success and stuff for some reason. And so but like older, middle-aged guys, nondescripts,
sure,
lawyers, company people, people with hard jobs and stuff who
just want to relax.
Exactly.
I know. I'm sure that I put off a very awkward vibe the few times that I've been to a strip club.
Yeah.
I don't know how common that is, but for me, it's just
as long as you're polite and stuff, I think it's fine. And I think that's most guys don't really know what to do when they go there. And I mean, the scene has really changed a lot because of the laws and that sort of thing. But at the same time, like I hate to say like incel, like, but I think that a big number of the clientels are guys that can't get girlfriends, guys that can't, that are awkward around women and stuff. And so I think like strip clubs are a safe space for them to go and get that kind of attention and spend some money and sort. So I guess I think for the most part, like, but I guess. An incel is definitely going to be a character in my that story.
Okay, so within this world, what story do you have to share?
I have a few.
Okay. Yeah.
So I have my the last night I'll ever work a deja vu story, which is not. But then I have another story, which is just this crazy night where I think 5 or 6 just insane things happened in a row from 8 o'clock till 4 a.m.
Cool.
So I could tell both or
let's go with both.
Okay. So deja vu. Don't ever go there.
So that is a club. Is it in LA?
It is. They're a chain. They're kind of all over the place. They. Well, I won't get into their secrets.
Sure.
But yes, they get a lot of money from Saudi Arabia.
Oh.
And so they have a club there, believe it or not. So
international brands.
Yes.
Okay.
And so deja vu is pretty crooked. But at the same time, a lot of businesses in LA are. I mean, I've always been, and that's kind of what's so shocking about what you learn working at a strip club is when you're you hang out or you spend time with men in these positions and they start talking about what they do and stuff is just like everyone's a fucking criminal.
Oh yeah.
But
okay, so you were at Deja Vu.
okay, and then Parks and Recreation.
Yeah.
Okay, Mona Lisa or Jenny Slate's character.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so there was 3 of them.
Oh God.
Yeah, and I
these were coworkers or
no, these were
patrons.
These were girls that were there.
Okay.
And
oh dear God.
It was actually like it was terrifying. I don't know what legally, if I had called the cops, what it would have been, but these 3 girls like cornered me in the bathroom, and I was locked in a stall for like 30 minutes.
Holy shit!
With them in this bathroom. I know, and they were like talking to me and stuff, and then one of them eventually got dances with me later and stuff. Like
she locked you in the bathroom. It
was really okay. So it was just they were like super drunk, super fucked up.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. One of them was definitely on like E or heroin or something. 2 of them were, but the 2 of the 3 were definitely coked out. And
yeah.
Like so I went into the restroom and they were in there. And then a girl turned to me and she was like, how much are dances? And I was like, they're $40. And she was like, somebody told me they were 20. And it's like, well, I'm going to charge you 40 because I don't have to dance for you for $20 if I don't want to. Yeah. And just judging on who you are and how you address me, I'm going to charge you 40.
Right. Yeah.
And so they're like, so they talked amongst themselves and they're like, it's 20. She'll do it. Like, and then they
decided it would be 20.
And then they're going to make an issue of it. And so I was like, I'm just going to go use the bathroom and they'll leave and stuff. But they like stuck around in the bathroom and like, I was just like, do I leave? And then the girl like started banging on the door and she like was, I am just a single bisexual woman. What's your deal? Like it was just like, because I don't want to dance with her for $20. And it's just, anyways, I just we got into like a fight.
Really?
Like, about
$20.
I know, and I was like, so it was like I've never fought with a female client. You know what I mean? Like she was a male client and like haggling and making like a deal with this fucking bitch, and so like. I eventually I think I got her up to like over 100.
Oh, really?
Because I wasn't gonna like, no, I'm not even for 40, not for 60. No, you could do it for 100. Give me 100.
Well,
and then I needed a $20 tip. And then so they were like, and I'm surprised. Like they were just gonna make it happen, you know? And it was just, I don't know. But it was definitely like, she thought she was putting me in her, like in my place or something, or like she was showing me who's boss because she finally got me to agree to do like a single lap dance with her for $120. And but it's just that was kind of
How was that dance? Was it awkward after being like berated and yelled at? I
tried to stay away from her. I didn't touch her, and I didn't let her touch me and stuff. But she was just being like all creepy and like, oh, that ass and stuff, like, oh, your tits, and it's just okay. Like, all right. Well, that's
do people try and? Is there a lot of haggling with dances and stuff? It's just I can't imagine bartering with that. Like to me, it's like if I was there and you said the price, I would just go, all right. You know, like I can't imagine haggling over like
and I think,
dances.
I mean, I think that's kind of. I mean, if I mean, it's you're making a sale and stuff, and so the club will set a price that you have to charge this amount of minimum, and the club will take a percentage out of that.
Right.
But you can charge however much you want and stuff, and so sometimes if like a guy comes over and he's like sleazy or creepy or weird, and I just don't want to dance with him, I'll say like $100 for a lap dance, and he'll usually be like, oh no, I'm not going to spend that much for a lap dance. But then sometimes they'll agree to it and stuff, and so and
then it's worth it, for that price.
Right.
That's just I can't imagine haggling. It's like you're at a swap meet or something. Like this isn't like a haggling situation to me. I can't imagine like people. I don't mean from your standpoint, but I mean like if somebody asks you a price and you say 50, I wouldn't be like, how about 42.50? You know, like
it happens all the time. They do it all the time. I think like guys that are like lifers at strip clubs and stuff, kind of like other clubs, you know, they can kind of do that and stuff.
Yeah.
But it's mostly like the good-looking guys. They're the ones that want to like that'll try and go as low as they can. You know.
I see.
And yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so then there was a crazy night?
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So it was Cinco de Mayo.
Okay.
Or it was the Day of the Dead. It was, I should have done my research on when the date was, but I remember what the date was because, so I'm going to use like fake names for the fake names of the dancers, because I mean, some of them are actually like still working.
Sure.
And do, you know,
I love fake names.
yeah. So,
right.
So I'll call, I just need to like figure out like a stripper name based off of another stripper name. So,
okay.
So Mary isn't a good stripper name, but I'll just say there's this French stripper named Mary.
Sure. Really down to earth.
Yes.
Good old
really,
Mary.
Yeah. And so Mary, she, you know, is really, really nice. She's like the kind of girl, she's like a world traveler. She has like tattoos in like different languages and like all
Sure.
she's definitely like a free spirit. And so she did the whole like Cinco de Mayo or Day of the Dead thing. And so she came in with like face paint with like the skull and crossbone.
Right, the skull,
stuff.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so she came in later. So I showed up early that day. I forget why, but I was there around like 8:00, right when they start for the night shift. And so there's me and one other girl there, Jessica, who's like a nursing student. So she comes in early to do homework, and she'll like put on makeup and kind of take her time, and then she'll go on the floor like 10 or 11.
Yeah.
And so she and I were there, and just kind of, so we were kind of talking, and then there was another girl on the floor who she looks like Tyra Banks, she talks like Tyra Banks, she acts like Tyra Banks.
Okay.
Her stage name is Tyra.
Yeah.
And so Tyra was on the floor, and Jessica and I are talking.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden we just hear this loud, blood-curdling scream.
Oh, God.
Just like blaring through the entire club.
Like over the music and everything, you could hear it? Oh, wow.
It was just... and we were just like, what the fuck was that? Like somebody was just murdered. We're like all freaking out. Like the manager goes to go check it out and stuff. We're all looking around trying to figure out where this scream was coming from.
Yeah.
So we determined it was of the paranormal.
Oh.
Okay. Which is a very common direction in the mind of strippers.
Really? Why is that?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just the way we think.
Just instantly about paranormal.
Yeah, I know.
Checks out.
Yeah, so it was a banshee. It was totally a banshee. Okay. It was it was a scream from the beyond.
Oh, wow.
And I know. So that started out our night.
Okay.
And so weird. So we're like all just like, like crazy shocked and stuff. And so Tyra is just like, goodbye, I'm going. She's like packing up all her shit.
She just stops
like,
mid-dance.
She's just like, I'm not, like, this is not good I'm not hanging out.
Not fucking with demons.
Yeah. If there's going to be a shooting here later, I know it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like she was just,
okay.
if you need me, I'll be at Deja Vu Commercial Street. Like I'll be there. And, so Jessica and I were there, and we were just kind of, and then so other girls start coming in. We're sort of telling her like about this scream, and then so Emerald, who's been like a stripper since she was 17, like she's like the whole like groupie circuit, like she's in her 40s now and stuff, but she's still dancing, and she still has that business side of she's actually, I think she's somebody I think that you can really see her life and what she's kind of built and from dancing, and really see that there are some women that like support their children through private school, and they support a business, and she but this is a big money maker for her, and she has clients that have been like in her life for like 15-20 years.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And so so Emerald comes in and she's just like, oh yeah, I've seen a ghost here a couple of times. It's a woman with like a veil over her head. And so we're like, what? And so I mean, I'm a total believer. Like I was like, oh, okay, so the woman with the veil over her head was
upset about something.
Yeah. Yeah. And so I downloaded the ghost app on my phone. There's a ghost app.
There's a ghost app. Okay.
Yeah, I honestly like I check. I don't know about its credibility
Sure.
because I tried it in my apartment, and if there's any place in my apartment that's haunted, it's definitely my bathroom. And so when I tried the ghost app in my apartment, it showed a ghost that like outside of my bathroom, and so it's like if there's a ghost in my apartment, it's in my bathroom. It's not any place else other than my bathroom.
Man,
so I don't think the app is accurate.
If ghosts can smell, they really did a disservice to themselves choosing the bathroom.
Really?
You know?
Oh, because of... okay, yeah.
This would be a bummer if you're just locked in a bathroom for eternity.
I know. Well, I
think they
always
do
wondered why ghosts stick around in the places that they do. But
right.
Yeah.
Like, do they have a choice in it? Are
I
they
know. Well, I
stuck
mean,
there?
like, why would this, why would a ghost want to stick around in a strip club,
Right, exactly.
Especially like a woman with a veil over her head. You'd think it would be like a guy ghost.
One might think that there was a bride who died at the strip club, and now she's stuck there because she died there? I don't know. Anyway, I've derailed the story. So
Emerald is like, oh, yeah, so we download the ghost app, and we're just like walking around the club, like a group of us, like just trying to like get it to work.
Is this during the hours? So like everybody else is dancing and you're just walking around?
It's still early. It's like around 9:00, so it's not terribly busy. But yeah, there are clients there and there are girls dancing, and then there's a group of us like doing like a ghost investigation. And so,
don't mind us. We're just investigating.
We're like going into the VIP areas and stuff and checking for like the ghosts. And but lo and behold, on the ghost app, the ghost that showed up was a woman with a veil over her head.
Holy shit.
It was the exact same thing that Emerald described. And so we were like all freaking out and stuff. And this is after like hearing like a scream. Right. And so, but then I double checked the ghost app in my apartment, and I don't think it's right.
Just a coincidence?
I think that a ghost with a veil over her head is a pretty common.
That's true.
I think there's been a lot of those. But
ooh, so what happened next? Did you?
So we're just like all just like like so going back to the incel, there's this guy, and I don't know how to describe him. He's like tall and skinny, with like a really bad goatee and stuff, and like greasy hair.
Okay.
And so he comes in. He never gets dances and stuff. And I will never forget the first time I met him. And I was like, I went up to him and I was just like, hi, like, what's your name and stuff. And he was just like, so he and I talked for a minute. And then he was just like, oh, I don't get dances. I'm just here to talk. And it's like, oh, well, do you want to tip me for your time? And he's like, oh, no, I can't. And he's like, but I just want you to know I think you're really beautiful. And if you ever want to like go out with me and stuff, I would love to take you out. And I'm just like, I mean, oh my God. I really cannot stand that, and it happens more often than not. And
really?
Oh yeah, it's awful. Guys go there to try and get girlfriends, and it's so pathetic. But anyways, not to judge, but yeah.
Well,
anyways,
that's fair.
Yeah. So anyways, I'm just kind of like, okay. And he's just like, well, here's the thing. Like, I'm kind of a pickup artist, and. Yeah, like, and I'm just immediately like,
oh,
like really? I know, because you have to say
I know. Yeah, you have to pretend to be interested.
Oh, don't you? I just want you to know I'm a pickup artist, and it's that explains everything. I mean, I feel like you should say that like after you pick somebody up,
right?
And then
yeah, that shouldn't be your pickup line.
I know. Tell them, just so you know, I'm a pickup artist.
I'm pretty good at this.
I picked you up, and my charms worked. Yeah, I got you. So he's just like, just so you know, like I'm a pickup artist, and I was like Hitch, like Will Smith and Hitch. You're a pickup artist.
I'm not seeing it.
Are you who that movie is based off
right.
of? Like how the mighty have fallen. And
What did you say?
I was just kind of like, okay, like, I don't know, like, sure. But he keeps coming back, you know, and he's a total regular. Like, he'll be there, you know, maybe once or twice every month, you know, a couple times. I'll see him there, you know. And he'll just kind of hang out, and like girls that are, you know him will just kind of not talk to him and leave him alone and ignore him. And then the new girls will kind of, you know, go and talk to him and get their time wasted and stuff. And, but he just kind of sits there and just like practices his pickup artistry. And so later on the floor, he's there, and I'm ignoring him.
Sure.
And this is, you know, months later.
Yeah.
And this is the day that, you know, that we heard the Banshee.
Okay.
So he's there that day, of course. And,
yeah.
and then this other guy comes in who's like this young, dorky guy.
Okay.
You know, and oh God, what did he say? I forget what it was, but I was just like, "Hi, like, how's it going?" And he was just like, "It's going," and you know, like just something really, you know. And I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool. Well, what's your name?" And he was just like, "Why do you want to know? What do you like?" Just, you know, being really like odd, you know, just like, and it's and so I'm just like, okay, you know, and just kind of thinking he's being difficult, and so I go and leave him alone, and then maybe like 30 minutes later, another guy comes in, and like kind of young, dorky looking guy, you know, and I go up and say like, "Hi, how's it going?" And he was like, "It's going."
So it's the same thing?
The same thing.
What is going on?
I don't know. It was like,
what?
I don't know what's happening. And it was just like, it was, and then so I'm like, so I go to the dressing room, and I'm like, these two guys did the exact same thing to me verbatim. And then like another girl was like, "Yeah, I know." Like they're saying the exact same things to all of us. And then like a third guy comes in, and we're like, and it's like a young dorky guy. And so we're like, we need to test this. So another girl goes up and sits down next to him. And the guy says, "It's going."
Oh my God.
Something of this, it's like of this combination.
Yeah.
Of lines.
The vague, lethargic answer.
Yes. And so this is what happened. So the pickup, it was his class.
Oh my God.
It was his students. This guy actually got people to pay him
for this advice.
And he brought them to their strip club as their final exam.
Their final exam. Wow. So he was. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So this is what happened.
Okay.
And so I'm not a slut shamer.
Sure. Good.
But we were all very angry at this one girl. Mm-hmm. So there's this girl. She's very like new agey, very free spirit. Like knows every position in the Kama Sutra.
Yeah.
You know, like she like has. Real, like, you know, like really, like if you need like weird sex tips, not like normal sex tips, but like the black market of sex tips.
Sure, yeah. She's
like who you go to and stuff. So she, and this other girl, the other girl used to work there. And then she ended up like moving on and doing something else, but they are best friends, roommates, and also like lovers, like menage, like they'll share boyfriends and stuff, or like, they're very like menage a trois. So I don't know. I don't know if they're lovers. I don't know. Like
they're like, very close.
Yes. Very, 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 very close. Very close. And, so this girl, I'm going to call her Sally. So Sally with the blacklist, like the black market of sex tips.
Black market Sally.
She got really fucked up.
Yeah.
And started hanging out with the pickup artist guy.
Oh, no.
And she took him home.
Oh, boy.
After he used the lines, "It's going."
No.
And this guy got a threesome with two strippers using his pickup artist lines.
God damn it. Yeah, and you were that's insane.
So like he's like, "Oh, I figured it out," and stuff. And so he started teaching his class like based on like, because it's like
Yeah, they basically rewarded him for being a complete idiot.
Yeah, I know. And so he like, okay, well, if I got a threesome with 2 strippers, I am officially a pickup
I
artist
can sell
now.
this. Yeah,
Yes.
my methods. Oh my God. I can't believe that. I'm glad that
Yeah, and so, but I will not slut shame her. I didn't say anything to her. But
Sure.
other girls were all very, like, giving her a lot of shit.
right, just for like rewarding his stupid ways.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, come on, not him.
I know,
Yeah,
exactly.
it's like validating this dumb. So that's probably why he's there all the time. He's taking his like next batch of students to learn the ways at the strip club. Oh my God.
I don't think it worked out for any of them.
I
and
wouldn't think
stuff,
so.
But
Yeah, what do they call it? Is it like negging or something? I think that's like the pickup artist term when you like are purposely a dick, and the idea is that like, you know, you don't show interest in the person, so then they're more inclined to want your interest. And it's like, yeah, that doesn't. I mean, maybe it works for some.
it
But
works on horses. So, I mean.
really,
Yeah.
do tell.
I don't know. I think like just with horses and stuff, if you like, you have to like look, if a horse is here,
Yeah.
and if you look over here, then the horse will will be more drawn to you than if you like. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well,
I know. It's
it
like
works for horses.
Yeah. Well, I just think that like it works on horses, so it has to work on some people.
I mean,
Yeah.
apparently it worked on the 2 friends of. Oh, wow.
God.
Wow. So I mean that's so how long have you've been dancing for a number of years now, right?
Yes.
Okay. So what is something that like people may not know about that world? And I know I'm kind of putting you on the spot. I don't know if
A
there's
lot,
something.
I think. I don't think that they realize. I think the laws are changing, at least in California, and dancers are going to start getting paid hourly and stuff. But I don't think people realize going into a club that we make money based on tips and based on dances and stuff. And so a lot of people will go there just to watch the stage and not tip anything.
Yeah.
And then a lot of people will go to clubs just to talk, and all they want to do is talk. And so they'll take up as much time of your time as they can, which is like, I mean, meeting a stranger and talking to a stranger and putting in that energy of just talking to somebody, is effort, and I
Right.
think that a lot of people will just like take your time and have a conversation with you. And then if you ask to be tipped or compensated for the time that you're spending with them, they'll think you're ridiculous or they'll get upset.
And then I realize you're on the clock. Like this is your job.
Yeah, exactly. And I guess there is a lot of like shaming, like strippers are lazy, or they get easy money, they get money thrown at them for not doing anything and stuff. But you do go through a lot. It is sales. You are talking to people. You are trying to make a a relationship of some kind happen.
Yeah.
And I guess, and also like, I think that like, oh, you're using, these guys for money. Like, I mean, I've had a very close relationship with one of my clients, and it was platonic, but I mean, I really cared about this person.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, it's not like I have no feeling for people just because I do this or just because, and this person supported me for, and was my main source of income for, I think, over like a year and a half.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like, and he and I, had a relationship of some kind. And there are, women. I know a girl like her. She, married one of her clients.
Really?
They got a divorce, but I mean, like, but she like fell in love with one of her clients and married him. And they had a kid together and stuff. So I mean, it's like, it is like there's a guy who's like a regular at like the strip club and also a lot of other strip clubs and stuff. And he had Thanksgiving dinner with one of the dancers at her place and stuff, and it's like, and he's like one of her clients. I was kind of like, oh, or you're going to bring that guy around your kids, really? But I mean, at the same time, like you kind of look like, oh, like people, like this is a family for some people. This is,
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how long do you think like a career lasts in that? Like how long do people stick around?
I mean, I think some women make it last until their 40s, and I think that I mean, it's always just kind of been like something I could do to support myself, and many times it was one of those things where there's a club in Los Angeles where it's like you just have to pay like a house fee to just to work and stuff. So it's like was down to like my last $25, and so I'm going to give this $25 to the club just so I can make $100, and then.
Right.
I ended up not making anything, and I lost $20 just trying to work and stuff, and being left with only $5 and stuff. And it's like I was literally, I mean, sometimes I would dance literally working just to eat food, just to eat, and it's like, and it's happened, and it's, I mean, Los Angeles or any place where you don't have, a safety net or a support system. I mean, like clubs and dancing can be a real asset, I think.
Well, sure. And I mean, I think if you've got the confidence and the ability to do it, I mean, it sure as hell beats, like when I've been in a pinch, certainly no one's paying me for dances.
The confidence or the low self-esteem to do it.
Maybe a combination.
Fine line.
But, I mean, certainly that wouldn't be an option. Like I was doing Postmates, delivering food for people.
Yeah.
And it was fucking miserable.
Right.
So it's like if you have that option, I mean, I get it. That makes sense. Yeah. I mean, is it? Do you think it is kind of a combination of like confidence and esteem stuff? Like, I don't know. I feel like, I mean, I know there's the cliches of, every movie and stuff. It's always like the strippers are generally not portrayed in a positive light, I would say. But do you see a lot of people who, do quote unquote have their life together and do enjoy, I don't know. I'm just trying to get a sense of the backgrounds of a lot of the people you work with.
Some of them are in school. Like, I work with a girl who is extremely ambitious, and she is in business school, and she is very smart and very intelligent, and she's making her life happen for herself, and because she came from nothing. If your family doesn't have money to it's you really have to think about money is like a video game, and once those points are up, it's like you're dead.
Right, game over.
Yeah, exactly. And it's independence for a lot of women, and I think a lot of women make those kind of sacrifices knowing what it's about. And I guess that's kind of. I wish I could think of say something more coherent.
No, I mean that's.
But I mean, the thing is that I mean, it's not. You do go through a lot emotionally. You do go through a lot. You could have guys saying horrible things to you. Because I mean, one in I think every 4 guys that goes into a strip club is there to be abusive. He wants to be, a jerk. He wants to waste your time. He wants to, get you alone and try and, get you to do things you don't want to do. It's hard sometimes that, you don't think that the bouncers are looking out for you and stuff, and or the managers aren't. But we need to keep this funny.
No, that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, goofy or interesting client you've had, or like the.
Yes.
Yeah.
He's a very successful stunt double.
Really?
Yes. So I think he's sort of bitter because he's a failed actor.
Okay.
He didn't succeed at acting. But he's, very athletically fit, and he works, and he's very successful being a stunt double. And so he's one night he came in dressed as Indiana Jones.
Okay.
And he was super fucked up.
Yeah.
Just already, because, and so he had this whole thing. He's just like, guess what? I just got cast as the new Indiana Jones in the new Indiana Jones movie. And it's like, cool. That's so exciting. Like, that's great. You just have to, go along with the fantasy.
Right.
I mean, you get bored. That's the thing. You can get so bored. It can actually be very tedious.
Mm-hmm.
And because it's just like these guys, I mean, they don't know what they're saying. They don't know they're being like boring idiots, It's just like they're not saying anything that's interesting and stuff. But I don't, I guess, I don't know. It's just hustling. You just have to hustle.
For sure. Well, obviously, you're much more than just a stripper or dancer.
Right.
You have a podcast that you've been doing for a couple months now.
Yeah.
Called the Manic Pixie Dream Podcast. So why don't you tell people about it and what motivated you to start doing it?
Okay. So basically, I have a unique vision. I guess everybody does. And just going, when the Me Too movement happened, I felt really affected by it. I think most women did. I think a lot of men did, and everyone was kind of experiencing this, a lot of emotions from they're people's heroes, people's favorite actors, people's favorite singers, people's, favorite production heads were, turned out to be rapists. Right. And then many people turned out not to be rapists, but were being held to that level. And everything just seemed really crazy. And it's like, and when everything started seeming really crazy, more and more of what I was thinking and feeling seemed to make more sense. Mm-hmm. And, and then also I think that feminism should serve all women. Mm-hmm. And it seems that feminism, is closing the doors on a lot of women, including strippers. Mm-hmm. And because I don't want to criticize anybody's art, but you hear so many jokes about prostitutes and strippers from upper middle class women, who are actresses and comedians and stuff. And it's women. So I think that it's important to get to a place where it's like, how about we protect women at the bottom? Right. Let's protect women, that are. Don't have protection. Right. And then once those women are protected, the women that already do have protection will still have it so much better than the women who are at the bottom. Yeah. And so I guess I advocating for, victims, actual victims, and and I think is a real important thing that the Me Too movement kind of got lost on. And absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. You have a different guest on every week. Yeah, I think it's led to some really interesting conversations with people about these very issues. So, if people want to find it, you can just search Manic Pixie Dream Podcast on Apple Podcasts or iTunes, and then watch it on YouTube.
But to finish out the story, it's actually not done yet.
Oh, really?
No.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So let me finish off the
I'm
second
sorry.
half of
Yeah,
that
I didn't even realize.
Oh, yeah, like a lot happened that night.
Oh, God. Okay. This is the Banshee Night?
Yes.
Okay.
And then the Pickup Artist Night.
Right.
And then so basically, the whole night ended. There was this girl there who's like the Russian network, like this Ukrainian chick, and she like only speaks to like the other, Russian network girls and stuff. And she and I will say hi and goodnight to each other and stuff, but really don't interact other than that, and don't really talk other than that. And she and I weirdly weirdly that night. Okay. And we just at the end of the night, she and I were just talking and we just shared our life stories. Oh. And so this, but I don't know. It's just that's how, I'm going to start at the end and then go backwards.
Sure. Yeah.
And so she had this crazy story where she moved here and she was a virgin. Okay. And she started stripping, and that was cause and so she worked for 3 years stripping as a virgin. Wow. Yeah. And then, but then this guy came in and just fell in love with her. Mm-hmm. And he's also I think Russian guy. And fell in love with her. And he just I want to be with you and we need to be together and stuff. And she was just no, I can't. And then he showed up at the club, kept showing up at the club, telling her how in love with her he was and stuff. And then he followed her home and then showed up, and then she ended up losing her virginity to him. Really? And then having sex with him, and then they got married and stuff. And then they ended up getting a divorce and he moved back to Russia or something. Oh. And so she had this amazing love story about this guy.
Wow.
And it was just, in a weird, I don't know. So that's kind of weird or something like that. But she just had this incredible story of just how this guy that fell in love with her. And, so that was, and then she and I haven't talked since.
It was just one night.
I know, where she and I just we just sort of started flowing and we just had a vibe together, me and this girl. And but so basically there was this feud happening, there was tension happening between Mary and Katrina. Okay. And so Katrina I'm not sure what exactly happened, but Mary and her friends had Katrina's car and decided to do Katrina a favor and crash her car for insurance money. And yeah. And so
it was a great scheme.
I know. I thought it made sense. And for some reason, an inexplicable reason, it didn't work out.
The Banshee.
I know. And so Mary and Katrina were having like this fight. There was a lot of tension between them. Katrina was really pissed at Mary for doing that and stuff. And now she's like doesn't have a car,
right?
And she's dealing with all this stuff. But they're like, there was this girl who, like months before, so Mary and Katrina were like had like this solid bond because there was this girl who attacked Mary. Just like went after her and stuff, and then Katrina, defended her.
Right, had her back.
Yeah, really. And I mean, breaking up a fight. I've had to help in breaking up a fight once, where it's just like you just grab somebody and like pull back on them and stuff, and that was just like that was years ago and stuff. So I never want to do that ever again. And I just like whenever like a fight, there's tension between like girls and that sort of thing. Like I just immediately remove myself from it and stuff, no matter what's going on. Just don't want to be around it.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I mean, you are dealing with people who have like anger issues and mental illness and stuff when you work at a strip club,
right?
And so you have to be patient with people going through that kind of thing. So there was tension happening, and so like God, what happened? Katrina went back with a guy.
Okay.
And then Mary went over and was just and broke into the VIP area that Katrina was in. And she was like, don't let her fuck you. She has STDs.
Oh, God.
And stuff. And it's just like, at this point, I'm just like, okay, Mary is a horrible friend.
Yeah.
And I mean, Katrina is like a serious sociopath, but Mary is like is just a really bad friend, even to a sociopath.
So they're quite a team.
Yeah. And so like it was just like, so there's like this screaming happening, just like, don't fuck her, she'll give you AIDS. Just like it was just like a scream like throughout the club, and it was just and then so anyway, so Mary was like, didn't think she was going to get fired at that point. And so she was like, you need to fire her. It's her or me and stuff. And it was like, she was already let go. Like they were already like trying, like they were already getting her stuff together and stuff. And then she was like demanding that Katrina get fired for, I'm not sure what. And yeah. And so it was just this, but I liked Mary. She was always really nice to me, at least. And,
wow. That is a hell of a night.
Yeah.
Wow. Was anything else happen that night?
I think something else did. I can't recall what it was.
I mean, this is a loaded night.
I know. I think the highlight of it was the end of it was just having that conversation and just like connecting with someone and that sort of thing. Because it's like weird when you can actually like. I mean, it's it can be such a superficial environment, and it is, and it's meant to be. That's like that's what it is. And but at the same time, like there's been moments of just like incredible depth and just and meaning and.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
It's cool when you have, it's just, interactions are funny in general when you you share like a very intimate, like just opening up with somebody. And then, like you said, you've never talked to her again. Like it's just, I think we've all had people in our life, whether it's just some random night. I off the top of my head, there was a night at the beach in Cannes, France. I was like talking to some girl I'd never met before and never saw again. And it was like, I was helping her with her English, but I think she already knew English. She may have been into me, and vice versa. But anyway, we just had like this very interesting, introspective night and then goodbye, like it's just, I don't know. It's interesting, those types of conversations, So, wow. Well, that's a hell of a night.
Watch my podcast. You know what? Actually, I have 2 reviews on the Michael episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're both negative, and they're like, one is from a liberal, and then one is from a conservative. And it's like they both hate it. So
Not going to make the internet happy.
I know. So it's just, I mean, I don't know like who my podcast is for exactly. I don't know who my audience is, but I hope I find them and they find me.
Yes.
But basically, it's just it's topics about. I mean, it's meant to be honest and it's meant to be real. It's like you can have quirks and issues and problems and still be a decent person with thoughts and feelings.
Yeah, most definitely.
Good.
So yeah, check out the Manic Pixie Dream podcast. There'll be a link in the description for the YouTube and audio version of the show, as well as the Instagram page for the show, which I believe is Manic Pixie Dream Podcast.
It is.
Okay, so yeah, no confusion there.
Manic Pixie Dream Podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. I laughed a lot.
Really?
And I think it's a world that a lot of people may not know about. So
Yes.
a little educational too. How about that? Thank you.
Of course.
That was the episode. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks again to Caroline for coming over and talking about some crazy stuff. I definitely laughed a lot, and that's always the sign of a good day. If you enjoyed it, give us that 5 stars on iTunes. Greatly appreciated. Again, Caroline's podcast is the Manic Pixie Dream Podcast, and you can find that on iTunes or Apple Podcasts or YouTube. You can watch the show. And to follow her on social media, it's Caroline_Lydia_Rose or at Manic Pixie Dream Podcast. That's all I've got for this week. I hope you have a great rest of the week. And until next Wednesday, keep laughing.